Alright, continuing here on the Underpass area, I was able, before I left this week, it's now Friday afternoon, my flight actually got canceled, my 5:30 a.m. flight Monday, and they rebooked me on the 6:10 p.m. Monday evening, which actually got delayed by an hour, but anyway. So I was able to come down, and before I left, get some of the landforms and using the sculptor mold. And I put it in and around, and I just came down before a conference call and got things painted up. So what I'm hoping to do now, since I was able to let that stuff get in there and then let it dry up while I was gone, is now that's got its first layer of paint on it. I might come back in and paint that road, see how it looks. I might actually put this road in here, get that done, and then decide if I want to get the back area there behind the tracks, get that worked on, and then even move down and work on some of this to actually get it scenic. At least probably up to in here or something like that. And that way I can get all that done back there and kind of call that, I won't say done, but at least far enough along for now. So everything's kind of worked in together. Now let's kind of hold the camcorder over here. It needs to get obviously the initial layer of ground foam, whatever I'm going to do. Probably start with some dirt this time and determine how I'm going to work on this field. Get it done, but everything's pretty much painted. I need to let that paint dry a little bit. So just want to grab a quick Friday afternoon in progress shot, and then more throughout the weekend as we keep working on it. So far I think things are looking relatively good, and hopefully we'll get it done a little further along and see what it looks like with some actual scenery on it. So more to come as we make some more progress here. Alright, this shows the road. Got it in here, a little bit of smooth it. Needs to be sanded quite a bit. It's a little bit rough, and even for Pennsylvania roads, it's probably a little bit too rough. Not that our roads are great here in PA, but you can see there I got quite a bit of sanding to do. And I ran out of the, I was using some of the supply, well, that I had from before, the good old paving tape. It's expensive, but it works. Ran out of it, so wanted to try to get this done. I ran up to the hardware store locally and bought some of this double-sided, 3M double-sided mounting tape. It's roughly the same thickness, might be a little bit thinner, but I kind of cut it there in half and use it as my form for the road. So that seemed to work okay. We got a nice big roll of it too for about 10 bucks. But alright, so gonna try sanding this, see how it looks, get it painted up. I want to get that painted up too. I did add a little bit there in that section, try to smooth out the transition from where I dug up the old scenery to merge it into the road. So I gotta do some sanding on that and try to get it painted and matched up. Obviously there's gonna be a huge difference between these two, because this is the styrene and this is the plaster, but hopefully the paint will make that work. So alright, let's get to work. Alright, got the road sanded. Looks relatively smooth. And then painted. And I got the back side there. And it's a lot rougher road back there, because all I did was kind of smooth out the sculptor mold and then merge it in there. And it's going to be weathered and everything like that. So what the intent being that the main road is this road going this way. And this is just a little back road that comes up in the backside of town. Town in quotes, because it's a model railroad, so I don't really have a whole lot of town. So what I did was, there's still some areas you can see that are a little bit rough. So I decided what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint it, let the paint dry, and then certain areas might come back and leave them as potholes, and other ones I'll actually fill and then paint with a different shade, or a darker color like it was patched. So that might blend in fairly well and helped smooth things out. It got pretty smooth, but there's some nice looking potholes on this. And then I stopped here because from here down to here to go under here, this might have to come, a lot of here's here. This might have to slope down. So just so I don't rip out road or anything like that, I stopped here so I can get this section in, work on this, and not have to come back and tear that up. So that is that. You can see some of the divots there that I might leave or might come back and patch some of that. Like I said, like the road crews were out doing some of the work. So gonna let that dry up. To paint it, I followed kind of what was in this one here. This I got that. I don't know. I've had this for years. Pretty good article here by Mr. Pele Solberg. If that's how you say his name. I'm really not sure. If I pronounced that wrong, I do sincerely apologize. But he's a good modeler, and the paint he uses is a mixture. These are enamels. Model Master. I bought some flat gold gray. You can see that's number 1730. That's the main color, mixed with a little bit of sand, and that's Model Master 1706. I don't even know what I measured it. I just poured this into a to a dish, added some of this, a little bit, just this kind of lightens it a little bit. Mixed it up and said, "Yeah, okay, it looks good." And that's all. That's all I did. I don't have proportions or anything, but mostly this with a little bit of this to your taste. You don't have to use this. I'm sure there's some acrylics that will work. The one acrylic craft that I had purchased, craft paint I purchased at Walmart, was a little bit too blue. They didn't have a big selection. I think if you went to a store, maybe I don't know, Hobby Lobby or even a Michael's or something like that has a larger selection of craft paints, you might be able to find one that would give you this lighter gray, because roads, at least around here, are really, really faded. This color, you might say, no, that's not a road, it's not gray enough, but yeah, it is. It's definitely light like this. At least the roads in our area here in the northwest corner of Pennsylvania. So I'm going to let that dry up and maybe move on to getting some of the scenery work back in here. So more to follow as progress warrants. Alright, little in progress stuff here. This is from the other side. I got the hill there. I got the ballast in on the branch line track. I got this hill, and just the initial layer on it. And a little bit back there on this side of the portal. And so the road is painted. So I also did some work on that side. We'll take a look on that side and see. And one thing I'm trying here, it's probably going to be hard to tell, but I didn't ballast the track yet, but as I was doing the work on the outside edges and in the middle there, I put some N-scale ballast on the outside and some black soil and some other earth stuff that the ballast will cover. Then on the inside, especially as I was over here, and when I increased the spacing of the track, there's obviously a lot more room there. So I just painted some acrylic paint in there and sprinkled some ballast just on the inside, just to cover up a little bit, so it's a little bit larger gap, and see if it helps at all. I don't know if it'll matter at all, if it'll help, or just wanted to see. Maybe on the sides there to give it a little bit more tooth when we come back and put the ballast in. So we'll see. It's just acrylic paint with some of the Woodland Scenic's fine gray blend there in the center, and then of course the whole thing, both tracks will be then ballasted later on a little bit. Alright, so you can see I got the embankment done there, the road. Let's go take a look at the other side and just see a little bit of the in progress stuff there. Okay, so this is done. Again, this is the initial layer, and around the abutment needs a lot more work yet, but this is the first layer of scatter in there, and then I did a little bit around the road here, not all of it there, like I said, then around the embankment and the back, yeah. And then this corner here, oops, pardon my shadow, and then like I said, up to right about where the road ends there I stopped, And then did again the tracks on both sides just to get that prep for balancing the track. So that's where we are now. Trying to figure out how I want to do up there. Those are some sill floor mats. I still struggle how to properly integrate them because they're so much thicker than other stuff. So I've been looking through some books and we'll see. I mean, I kind of like the way it looks, but again, I'm honestly not quite to that level yet of feeling super comfortable using those mats. But we'll see. So, like I said, on the far side there, at least it started. Probably get ready then for some of the vegetation to go along the side. And if we get the drone up there. That's kind of what we look like there on the sides of the portal. It's not perfect. I noticed that from where I put the styrene to the plaster, it's a little bit different in shade. And I was hoping to avoid that, and now it's obvious because you have that darn straight line across it. But hopefully we get it weathered up. We're going to take it away and make it look like it's all part of the road. Alright, so that's the in progress stuff thus far. Might even try to get some of the lines painted on the road. And then what I really want to get done tomorrow is this down and back part. But I got to figure out how to use those freaking mats, at least properly. So, alright, more to come. So this is just a little bit of a in progress here for today. Alright, a little more in progress. I did come back and kind of patch the road with some fast and final, just to fill in some of the spots that were the most interesting. So it's pretty soon. I'm going to repaint the whole road now, give it a whole another coat, and then maybe come back and detail some of these areas that look like they might have been repaired. Like with and you look at a road, there's all kinds of, again, at least around me, there's all kinds of lines from tars where they fix cracks and stuff like that. So I want to make it look a little bit more interesting. The center ballast there seemed to work out pretty good. Came back and just vacuumed it up, so there's a nice little base layer of the ballast that we're going to use. Again, I especially wanted to get it in here where the track's the widest because I widened the curves. The spacing only on the curve. So that seemed to work out pretty good. So we'll see how, again, ballast and track is not the most enjoyable thing to do, but you got to do it. So with that, and then again with some of the preliminary stuff done on the outsides, and again the ballast will come down over this. This will just kind of be like the base layer. It's some N-scale ballast, some Woodland Scenics, the darker black actually soil, and there's some dirt sprinkled in there as well. Just kind of gives it a base coat for when you put the final ballast on. So some of that, most of that will be covered. Alright, so back to work. Let's work on the road. And then the embankment dried up pretty nice when I try to get that done, and I still want to figure out what in the world I'm going to do in the back there. So, alright, let's get back to work. Alright, a little bit more in progress. I'm a little bit later here this week, but trying to get some more done before I put the update up. So I went through here and I scenic all the back part there, up along the back, and then on the embankment I used some of the deco grass from Hecky. And then what I did was I came back in and I sprinkled some of the Monster Model Works diorama dirt, or any dirt you might want if you're doing this on your own, and I sprinkled it in there, and you can see now there's some bare spots, which I think looks a lot more realistic than just having the plain, even, this is wild grass, and this is kind of the deco grass I put there more along the embankment. So I kind of like the look of that. It looks a bit more interesting with some of the dirt. You can see I kind of sprinkled it in throughout the entire embankment and hill in the area there in the back, and then this kind of field here I came back and made it look a little more patchy. And then just this evening got some of the static grass out and my Notch Grassmaster. I know you can build your own and but I had this from the last layout, so I used it and put some of the static grasses in here, different lengths, and different varieties kind of mixed in. Put some out there by the track. I'm letting that dry before I come in there, and I'm going to, vacuum it all up. But I wanted to have that look kind of down here along the road to give a little bit more of a grassy look. And I'll probably even come back in here and then sprinkle some dirt in there. You can see how it's kind of around the road. It's kind of barren there with some of this, just the earth showing through. Then I can come back with some tufts and fix it up, and then maybe come back in here again and add some dirt just to give some bare spots in throughout there, which I probably could have done without putting glue down, but I just kind of got it out and went hog wild on it. So but some more work to go on this, and then probably put some tufts in along the road here and there, and then I got to figure out what we're going to do for the field. Over here I did work in part of one of the sill floor mats with some of the other grass. I just kind of like the way that looks in there. And I put some of the woodland scenics flowering yellow flowers in there, and I put sprinkled some of those again throughout. I really like that. That stuff works. Yeah, I'm sorry. Whoop. This stuff, it's good. I like it. You can really stretch it out real thin, and it really, I think it looks good. It's kind of, it's a nice dull color. Duller yellow, not real bright. And I have it in a couple spots. Now I have a real bright spot there, but you can see there's a couple of little spots where the yellow is kind of sprinkled in throughout. And it works good. You just kind of tease it out as thin as you want and just kind of lay it in there, and that sticks right in there, so you don't even really need to glue it. But I think it kind of adds a little bit of, just a little touch of variety. So I'm going to have to come back obviously on the embankment and do some more work on that. But overall, I'm liking the way it's coming together. It's not done yet, but I think it's getting there. I think it actually kind of ties into the backdrop relatively nicely. And I'm liking the way this underpass turned out. Again, still need some more detail. I'm going to work on it some more before I put this update up, so you can actually see some real progress. And then it's going to figure out how I'm going to stripe the road and then get the field put in. So that is it for now. So you can see some of the dirt, even some of the bare spots down here on the embankment. I went back and put some of it in. I think it really kind of enhances the look of it. I think even one of the folks who commented, hey, there's no bare spots over there, and you know what, you're right. And I probably could go back over there and try to get it, but I'm not sure I'm going to reach over there and try it. We'll see. But going forward, now that I've done it, I kind of have the technique down, so you can put that grass down, and as you stretch it, there's some natural areas where it's going to be thinner, so you come back and sprinkle some earth or dirt or whatever you want to use, and it kind of gives it the look of a bare spot. And then it might even make sense if you put some trees in there where it might be bare, and then put some ground fall, some fallen leaves and whatnot around the base of it. So overall, coming together, we're getting there, So that's it for now. We'll keep doing some work. Maybe in the next day or so, get this posted up so we can get an update out there. So, all right, more work to come. Okay, a little more in progress work here. I'm pushing this update a little bit longer just so I can get some more work done. And this is the scene here. I've come through, added some static grass, came back and added some tufts, added some hecky floor, some blau, flat, whatever this stuff is. There's some more stuff in there, and I've added some more stuff back there, trying to meld it all together, and started adding some shrubs and bushes and whatnot. Try to go down low here and get a look in that area. That tree right now is just sitting there. I'm trying to get an idea, because at the actual location there's a tree in that location, and that's a knock tree. I might use that one. I'm not sure. It might need a little bit of work, but it looks kind of good. So that's the way we're looking here, looking down toward the underpass with some of the other foliage added. Still kind of the intermediate level, but I think it's coming together pretty nice. I did work on this side a little bit as well. along that back embankment. It's nice because some of the hecky floor you can actually kind of lay in there, and it looks like a little denser shrubbery. And again, it kind of gives you some of the three-dimensional look that I'm going for. And again, I'm not saying it's up to the level of Josef Brondel yet, but we're trying to make it three-dimensional and look a little bit more realistic than just ground foam and clump foliage. I think we're getting there. So I'm pretty happy with the way this scene is starting to turn out. Like I said, it's not done yet, but just want to kind of film some in-progress stuff here. So, I'm going to let this sit overnight and think about it. I do like the way it kind of looks with that tree there. It's kind of just the right height. And now I'm actually, I hate to say this, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to getting the damn ballast done. Sorry, the darn ballast done. To kind of get this whole scene kind of wrapped up here. Now I do need to do a lot more work around the embankment here and in the back. And it takes time just to go through and do all that. And I'd really like to get this field in before I throw this update up. So I might wait a little bit longer just to get some more done. Maybe even get the road painted up if I can. So that's kind of how we're looking there. Do a little bit of a close-in action there. I think it's hard to tell here through the viewfinder. I don't know exactly how it's going to show up, but it's looking a little more three-dimensional. So that is where we are tonight. So more to come as we continue working along here. We're back, and a little bit of progress here on the road this evening. Overnight I did do some more work. You see there's a little bit of a path there, and some of this stuff's been done, and again the tree's just sitting there now for a sample, and I have this working. That's going to be the field. I'll see how that works out. More to come on that later. But what I did was on the road, went ahead and striped it, and then tarred it up using the reference for the roads that are around me, and mucked it up there a little bit. I know it might look odd, but the roads around me look a lot worse than they, in your mind's eye. You think they're nice and smooth and perfect, and really they're not. So on this, for the stripes, what I did, I used this painter's pen. It's actually made by Elmer's. I bought it at Niagara Craft and Hobby Mart over in Cheektowaga, New York. I had to go over to our Buffalo shop for work, and I convinced the guy I was driving with to stop in. So anyway, so this is the fine yellow, and there's a fine white that I use for the outer lines. And I just kind of, I did roughly measure it out with a scale rule. They're about 12-foot wide lanes on this road. Back there, there's no painting on that particular road. I did kind of daub it with a little bit of asphalt. I did buy also there. I got some asphalt from Woodland Scenics. That's what I used for painting in some of the patches that were done. I used a gloss black for all the tar, where they're fixing the various cracks. I probably was a little bit impatient. I hand painted the curve, so it's not perfect. Not that stripes probably are perfect, but it probably should be better than that. But the next step, what I was planning to do, was actually come back in and fade that a little bit more. And when you fade it, I think the fact that it's a little wobbly won't be as noticeable. And that's because driving around the roads that I'm kind of basing this on, you drive along and you think that, well, you kind of know in your mind's eye that that double yellow line is there. But I'm telling you, you look at it, it's so faded. There's spots where it's almost gone. So I think I can go ahead and, in a prototypical fashion, fade that a little bit. Then I do need to come back and weather the lanes, probably use some chalks to weather the lanes here and then up here. Then I have all kinds of signs to go in, stop signs, the two signs that go on the entrance of that bridge, probably a double arrow here, and all that kind of stuff that needs to still happen. Like I said, more to come on that. I'm going to try something with this. I hope it's going to work. I'm not sure. So that's where we are now. Again, I don't know how well it shows up. Again, if you're at that level, you don't really tend to notice a lot of the tar. But even just do a Google, Google Maps and look at the satellite picture, or Google Earth and look at the road that's near you, you might be surprised just how messed up they are. So, not messed up, but just how much patches and how they really look, how faded they really are. Because we all think of asphalt most likely as this color. Which for a brand new section, which that was, a repaired section, maybe it would be like that. But oftentimes it's very, very faded. And even the lines are very, very faded. So, alright, enough chit-chat. So that's that section. Just wanted to show a little bit of in-progress work there. And we're going to keep working. Like I said, trying to get this whole corner scene done before I put the update up. So it's probably going to be a little bit yet, because I want to get at least have an update where you can actually see some progress being done here. More to come soon. Alright, just a quick sidelight here. I want to show a little bit of the signs, and just to give you a brief update how I'm doing them, just for those that may be curious. I have a lot of the Blair line signs, which are nice. They're they're thin plastic. You can cut them out and you can glue them right to a post. What I'm using for posts, they come with the wooden posts inside the bags. I also purchased some of their plastic ones, but they're round. And what I've seen, being a more modern setting for our layout, is that they're not round, and they're usually not wood. They're that kind of that odd shape that you can bolt the sign to, which I don't know that exists in HO scale. So I kind of compromise a little bit, and I'm using some 040, which is roughly about 3 inch by 3 inch square. And that is going to simulate, look at some of my prototype photos. Let me grab this here, part of that. Well, you probably can't really see. That's got the new type. And on the other side of the bridge, one has one that's a green color. And that is like, I don't know if it's going to show up very well, but it's that's kind of what I'm going for. It's square. Probably aluminum, I assume, or something like that, with holes in it. And probably the various holes are for, where you can mount the sign out in the real world. Now, I'm not going to worry about modeling the holes. I guess if you wanted to, you could paint little dots on it, but I'm not going to go that far. So I used the 040, roughly 3 by 3, because again, you have to also consider, you need the darn things to stand up. And if you got too flimsy, I'm afraid that they would just wilt over. So the Blair line ones, I just cut them out, glue them here. I'm going to paint the back of them with this flat aluminum. Going to paint the back, then I'll paint the poles themselves. Maybe aluminum as well, maybe some different colors, just for some variety. And you can see these are ones that I printed myself and then cut them out and glued them to, I think it's like an 010. I think that's what it is, I don't know, it's real thin. Styrene. I glued them on with some glue stick, UHU stick. Worked out pretty well. So again, I'll paint the back of those. Then on the ones that I print off, I'll probably give them a coat, one of the matte varnishes there, just to kind of put a little protection on it. And that one there, I don't know if it's legible. That's one of the Adopt the Highway signs that I saw looking at pictures, and you can see who owns that part of the road there. So yours truly there, going out to help keep the environment clean. So I'm going to paint these up, get them ready. Interestingly, per the prototype, this is one that I printed off, and this is one that's going to go on the other side. If you notice, they're different. This one has less than that one, and the sign's a little bit smaller. And I think that's fairly prototypical, because if I look at my prototype photo, again, where is it? Right here. You can see the one on the left is a little bit, visually it looks a little bit smaller, has less of the stripes than the one on the right. And it's the same on the other side. So, figured, okay, so I'll do one of each. So we'll have one of the smaller ones. Again, the line slope 45 toward the road. on one side and one on the other. So, alright, gonna get to work done on those and you should see how they look on the layout. Alright, a little bit of an update here. Gonna go ahead and stop now and put this up. I put the field down. Hopefully it works alright. I'm going to try something with that. We'll see a little bit later on. Just kind of the base installation there on that. I guess they got all that done over there. Worked on the road a little bit more. Kind of worked on the modifying the... I want to add a little bit of a hill here too. Some of the tar work on it. Looks extreme, but I'll throw some pictures of what the actual road looks like. So, gonna get this up. Gonna keep working. Got some signs drying up. Want to get it up though. I might have to go to a every 2-week update now, just so I have enough to show and not bore people. But if I get anything more interesting done over the weekend, I'll pop something up. But I have to go out of town again next week, so I don't have my normal, till Monday or so to do it. So we'll see. We'll see how I go. But let's get this one up. I don't want to keep these too long, and we'll keep working, and hopefully I want to get the rest of this field done over the weekend, and we'll see what we have. Maybe I'll be able to do something later on Sunday, a short one. It's kind of a summary of things that happen from here on in. But we'll get this up so you can kind of see how things are going now, and more to follow when we get some more work done.